Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here for your weekly market update. A little later in the day than usual. My work life has gotten incredibly busy, as I've hinted at before. Just a lot of deals going on, a lot of work to be done, and it has to take priority over this. As much as I love doing this for you all, I do have to stick with my day job and continue to perform. So let's jump into it. Some very interesting little tidbits this week. So we were looking at last week. We had some heat, we had some cooling, a little bit of a volatile week after a dip of a week. So we were talking about reversions to the mean and the like. Looks like some of that has happened, others have not. So let's go ahead and just jump in, go through it. As you see, Arc Crew and Mon, they both had this cooling, and then they bounced back to the mean, reverted to the mean, and you can see they actually held steady, didn't really move much from there. So that's one of those things that's interesting. This is on unlimited boxes, individual boxes. So I guess they're stabilizing. These, we'll look at the chart at exactly what the pattern looks like, but that tends to be just a price action move that seems okay. Reversion to the mean, maybe a spike of distribution letting supply out, or people ordering, or an LGS giving up sort of thing. That can happen and just kind of hit the market all at once, and then it just kind of calms down. Now remember, this was all around Pro, so it may have just been people pushing product out around Pro and what that's about. We had a dip in Tales of Aria last week down to 52. Now we're back up to 65. Again, reversion to the mean, as you can see, 64, 67, 67. So right in that area we had been before, very stable, just a dip. Probably the post-Starvo Living Legend situation, but I'm not 100% sure. We will find out, I'm sure. Unlimited is obviously the player's market, so these things will more likely react to the player's stuff than anywhere else. Arcane Rising, I'm interested to see how this is impacted and if we have an arbitrage opportunity or not. I don't think so, but we'll see on the charts in a second. Again, same with Mon. Mon is getting really low, finding that very interesting. This is the unlimited, so not as interesting from a collector standpoint, but just interesting in general that Mon is seeing a dip in general across the player's market. Maybe people are predicting Prism's out, I'm not sure. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense because Chain's hot right now, although it won't be around for long. Maybe that's predicting Chain will be out. We'll see. Tales of Aria is back up. Same thing as what we saw with the boxes, so I think that's a reflective market behavior, just cases in boxes. Scroll down here. We did see the dip in first edition boxes last week, which have not changed, so that's important. It did not revert to the mean. It is just a lower price. In fact, it continued lower on ARC for first edition boxes, 1650 available on TCG Player right now. So that is an incredibly good deal. I believe that is the lowest I've ever tracked. So I think first edition ARC boxes are at a pretty solidly low price, and I mean, I'm sure it's possible that this stuff continues lower. It's worth keeping an eye on. I like to look for when it kind of hits that point where it starts to revert back up. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I may pick up some boxes of this. I have been doing that with collector edition MTG boxes, essentially catching the bottom, and I did it successfully with Kamigawa, Nuka Pena, and well, I guess not Nuka Pena yet, but I'm about to pull the trigger on it because I have a feeling it's going to tick up in the next week or two. But what was the one before that? Oh, Crimson, and the other one, Innistrad, the non-Crimson Vow, whatever. Collector's boxes basically following the same pattern as what we're seeing here with a dip that I think the whole market's going through in general. And so you just keep an eye on it until it starts to go back up, and then you grab in there, and that's close enough to the bottom for me. Crew, we are seeing a drop actually in Crew, Mon, Tails, and Everfest. Significant double-digit drops on Mon, Tails, and Everfest. So if you're looking for first edition boxes to complete those collections, time to keep an eye on this. Maybe not take a jump yet. Again, watch for it to revert. But it may be worth it. Keep an eye on it over the next week, because I imagine with a double-digit drop, you're going to see a spike back up, reversion to the mean situation. Although we do have this pattern here on Mon, this jagged up and down, up and down. We'll look at the charts and see what that looks like. But interesting times, no doubt. Crew is also at the lowest I have tracked, I believe. Yes, so this is the lowest first edition Crew box I've ever seen. I've only been tracking this stuff on data for a few months, so no big deal, but good times to buy if you're looking to get some of those old school collectible. And there's some really valuable cards in Mon, so 141's a pretty good price. I might pick up a bunch of Mon off of that just to crack and look for cold foils, honestly, because there's some I'm missing, I believe, from here, and there's some that are worth money that even if you crack them, you know, because they're about one a case, I believe. If I'm wrong, leave a comment. I think Mon was at that one a case level. Crew, it wasn't as consistent, nor the ones before that, but I think Mon at that point, they had gotten to that point. Interesting on this ARC drop we saw last week, it is still listed at 12,000. No one's buying it. I take this as kind of a fuzzy piece of data because if I was going to spend $12,000, I don't know that I'd do it through TCG Player, right? I don't know where your comfort zone is, but I don't tend to buy through a retailer like that for something that big. I want to have an interaction with the human being, and it's just too blind. So just because it's listed at 12,000 and no one's biting doesn't mean that's the going price, right? This would be a scary purchase to buy at 12,000, in my opinion. I've bought ARC in the 5-figure range before, and it took people confirming with me that this is a safe purchase, a safe person to purchase from, references, etc. I would never do that through TCG Player. So I'm not sure I'd take that as a significant data point, but it is a data point, and we are tracking it, so we'll keep an eye on it. Crew continues to decline at the case level for first edition. Same with Tales of Aria. Mon is staying dead same, even though the boxes are dropping, so we might get some sort of interesting opportunity there. Let's see, Everfest is up, actually, 1.5 points. Not that big of a difference. Interestingly, probably the most exciting for me personally is that we see Uprising is continuing to decline in the lead up to its release. That means we may have learned our lessons as a market about hyping and pre-ordering. I think that's probably a good thing ultimately, and will hopefully slow down the amount of supply that is provided for each of these products. But at the end of the day, it appears the market is not trying to buy things at 10, 20, 30% over MSRP. They are allowing the prices to drop, which is the wise way to play this. Cases, on the other hand, are about 100 a box. It's a little bit less than that. It basically balances out. It's a little bit lower on the per box. I might actually pick up a few just individual boxes for the sake of opening on camera type thing at a lower price if this continues to decline and outweigh the case. Typically, I just buy cases, but just a few extra boxes to open. That might be worth doing. Could be some fun. I hope there's no waiting of them to see what has the cold foils. A couple things I wanted to point out. These are the white border historic cards. You'll note that a couple weeks ago we were talking about this. Fyendal Spring Tunic was like 270 or something like that. It was crazy. It was way above what a normal tunic is. It's now come down to somewhat in range. It's still a little high. Again, the listing number is low. There's only 4 listed. So as more of these get on the market, which we see they are, the historic boxes are still at that 111 price. As more of those go on the market and people open them and get the tunics, this will come down. So I think the overall price will drop. Grasp is in parity. I believe that's what it was for Grasp before this, non-white bordered, that is. So again, I think that will come down as more get listed, but it has had the desired effect on the Command and Conquer, which was the big one everyone complained about the most. I can't get Command and Conquer. It costs $100 a card. I need 3 of them. That's ridiculous. Well, here you go. They're now 60 a card, and that will probably continue to fall. So those are the bits and pieces for that. Uh-oh, I can't reach my tabs. They're there. All right, let's look at... Oh, I thought I reset this. All right, so unlimited cases here. So prices are just trailing flat for the unlimited cases. The boxes are usually the more interesting bit, but not in this case. We're sitting steady for WTR. It hasn't really moved much at all. And then we're seeing the case divided by 4 continue to be at a point where you can arbitrage, but not by much because it's only like a $2 difference, $1.25 difference. So do not spend your money on that. Let's go to ARC. Okay, ARC is now a newly entered arbitrage opportunity, which I was thinking might happen. So we're seeing a steady decline across the board here, and then we're seeing this case divided by 4 is now dipped below what the per box price is. So it might be a good time to start either looking at or purchasing cases of Unlimited if that is something you need the cards for. Obviously, most people have those cards, so not necessarily a great opportunity overall, but there might be a little bit of arbitrage. I mean, we are talking about a $6 difference. That's not going to pay for your shipping and handling and all the rest, but it may be worthwhile for you as an individual for your collection's sake. Crew. Same thing, arbitrage is still here. Case divided by 4 is dead steady because the price is dead steady, while the individual boxes have jumped up to 83. That's only a $4 difference. Again, you're not going to make the difference up on that arbitrage, but worth watching if you're into that. This is all unlimited, so frankly, I don't put too much weight into any of this. I guess as players, you might be interested in this stuff. Let me know in the comments if you are. You can see Mana is dropping off, curving down, and then the case divided by 4 is dropping with that, kind of doing the same hump curve here. This is instability, but it's kind of following the market, sticking with it here. Let's see, Tales of Aria. So seeing a reversion to the mean. Nothing too interesting here. That dip was kind of, I guess that was the post Living Legends dip, we'll call it. And things are just kind of reverting back to the price. So it really wasn't worth dumping all that product because guess what? The market absorbed it, and now we're back at the price we were before. So if you were, oh yeah, that's right. There's no Unlimited there. So if you were a shop that dumped product, you probably could have waited a week and saved some money, gotten a little extra out of it. Anyways, for now, let's start WTR. WTR, oh yeah, nothing interesting here. It's dropped down a little bit, and we'll just keep an eye on it, see if it sticks. ARC, again, dropped down with the madness here, and I don't really take this as meaning too much. Here's the one that was interesting. Here you go. The case premium has dropped. So we are not in an arbitrage opportunity yet, but the case premium has dropped. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on this because if an arbitrage opportunity pops up in ARC First Edition, I'm pretty sure some big money players are going to take advantage of that. They may not even take advantage of the arbitrage, but just snatch up the cases. So we'll see how this, continues. But this dropping down and tightening this band here, that's pretty interesting. It says something about the collectability, long-term collectability of sealed cases and what that looks like, and nervousness of people. I would say it's 2 data points, so take a chill. Like, don't take this as, oh my god, the sky is falling sort of thing. But it's worth watching to see if this pops back up or, what happens here. Because if this stays like this, it does indicate a very different attitude. Because this was rock solid stable historically. And now this is a lot tighter. If it stays stable here, it does indicate a difference in the market. But it's only 2 data points, so we will hold off on making judgment there. Crew, yeah, we had some jaggedness over here, so a little instability in the market, kind of reverting to the mean. You can see it dropped down a major amount, went back up about halfway, went back down about halfway between these 2 points, so this is the one that's halfway between that, and then this is 2, and that's halfway between that and that. Reversion to the mean, classic pattern. So it's still a downward trend. I would keep an eye on it, but expect, a little bit up, maybe like here next week. And then we'll see where it ends up from there. Premium, still there. Still intact for Crew. Monarch. All right, Monarch is flatlined at a relatively low price compared to historically, but 3 weeks in a row, solid as a rock for First Edition, while the individual box cases or box prices have dropped like a rock. This is an anti-arbitrage opportunity because case divided by 4 is actually a much, much, much higher premium than the per box. That's an interesting thing compared to what we're seeing with Crew and the others and ARC. So I will watch this closely because I'm curious how this plays out. For some reason, is this going to have a much higher premium? That wouldn't make much sense. Mon has no good reason of having a higher premium, but we'll see what happens there. It could just be an anomaly of actual supply. It happens. Tales of Aria. Now, we talked about this. Jagged should go back up. It did not. It fell off a cliff. LL happened, and so this is what happens with that. the premium rose by comparison. It was 75 cents before, now it's 7.50. Still not enough to make any money. Oh no, never mind. This is an arbitrage. This is a premium. So yeah, it's a higher premium, further from arbitrage, is what it is. Yeah, I don't know that we can draw any conclusions from this either, honestly. And then Everfest. Interestingly, the case prices are appearing to be on a rise. So back here, we talked about the swoosh, right? And ignoring this data point and just hoping it goes that way. It did not. It settled back down. So it kind of flatlined swoosh, but now we're seeing an uptick. It's only a few bucks. Let's let the data tell us what to think about it. Regardless, our arbitrage opportunity is long gone now. So we're seeing a premium come in, and theoretically 725 again might be that sweet spot that we stay at going forward. We'll have to see how that pans out. So that is it for the market update. I hope you guys are enjoying your day, cracking packs and having fun. I know some of you are in ProQuest. I'm sure that will have an impact on the market as we start getting data about the various ProQuest success stories and winners. I may or may not be able to cover that just because of everything going on, both in my personal life and in the fact that ProQuest is, I'm not sure the data is going to get out there. It didn't really get too, it wasn't too prevalent last time. It was hard to come by. So I will see what I can do. If I can get some good analysis together, I will. If not, I apologize for that, and we'll just look at the markets and see what happens there. Try to keep an ear to the ground as to who's winning so that at least I can reflect that in the market updates. I hope you guys are having a good one and out there having some fun playing some games, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.